Alright, I'm going to try to stream a gameplay I had earlier with AP Sona. Uh, the game started out pretty poorly. I gave up a couple of kills really early on, and that really hurt me, but ended up doing pretty well in the end. So I think this would be a good game to kind of show off what AP Sona is capable of. I'm laning against a Lux named Captain Pooface, and ultimately the combination of AP Sona plus a support in Italy who ended up building relatively AP made it so that we could just push down lanes and they didn't really have anything that could stop us. So once this loads in, I guess we'll see what happens. So against a Lux, I usually start boots and 4 health pots when I start this game. The reason being, I want to be able to dodge her skill shots. Oh shoot. Let's get that a little smaller. Okay. Now I won't be in the way. So I'm just going to keep the camera
Welcome to Summoner's Rift
on Sona because I don't want to have to direct the camera as I'm doing commentary. I'll just mess things up. We go for a red invade, mainly just because we have more damage at level 1. So we decide, okay, go for their red. It's pretty uncoordinated. It took us a really long time to get their red. If they were better, they would have either that bush covered or the red bush covered. And now Rengar comes and phase checks, and as a result, he gives me first blood. Let me turn the volume down on this a bit. It's very loud. Okay. So since I'm able to go back early, I grabbed myself a Doran's Ring, and now it's going to give me huge harassing power in lane. Obviously, the extra AP I get from it, I go from having 29 AP at start to having 45 AP at start, and that's going to allow me to really poke out Lux with the 0.7 AP ratio on my Q. But as I'm doing this, my team decides to continue going for their red, even though there's only two or three of them. So Lee gives up a kill, and Italy in the process gets caught, and she also dies. So we've thrown away our lead. We're now down 200 gold, but thankfully Lux did not get either kill or assist or anything, so she's still behind me in lane. The only problem is that I can't really afford to push too heavily because I'm going against a Rengar jungle whose gangster are very strong, especially if Rengar is able to apply his slow and then Lux can get her snare off on me. That pretty much guarantees that I'm dead. But at start, I know Rengar probably had to go back after red because of the damage that he took. So I'm not too afraid of a gank, and then I see that he went top. So I'm able to play a little aggressively for the time being. But mostly my goal against Lux is just to wait till I get level 6, and then hopefully I can try to kill her then. Up until that point, I'm mainly just going to focus on CSing and trying to dodge her skill shots, which I'm pretty bad at. Most people say that Sona is a counter to Lux. I consider Lux a counter to Sona, but that might just be because I'm not able to dodge any of her skill shots. I'm not sure. I just think that Lux is able to provide poke that outranges Sona's 700 range on her Q, So, uh, in theory, she can just keep on spamming Lucent Singularity, and there's not really much you can do about it. But there she goes out of position twice. She lets me get 2 Qs on her, and as a result, she has to go back. If I was a better player right now, I would be pushing the wave. But for some reason, I think she might be roaming bot instead. So instead of pushing the wave, I just freeze it, which makes her only lose out on 3 or 4 CS instead of the whole wave. So this is a minor misstep on my part. It's one of many this game. So I'm still playing relatively defensively because I have no idea where Rankar is. I would love to be able to just, go aggressive and be able to get into Q range constantly, but I can't afford to do that. It's too risky to get hit by a binding. And as I've said in my guide, Sona's damage output really shines after level 5. Once you get that 3rd point in Q, you can feel the poke. This game, that wasn't necessarily the case, just because I got the early Dorn's Ring, I was able to provide more damage than usual, but once you get level 5, you really can start to control the lane. So now I'm starting to play a bit more aggressively. I've got a level advantage on her from her trying to roam bot. I've got a bit of a CS advantage, although I haven't bought anything with it, so that doesn't mean much. But I can try to force her out of lane a bit now. Still, because of the threat of Rankar, I'm playing more defensively than I would against other mids in this situation. Generally, I would play this more aggressively than I am right now, but I can't really afford to, because I know that my lane is the most likely lane to be ganked. So now I hit 6, Lux is only level 5, and I try to take advantage of that level. Once I get that Q off on her, I think I have kill potential. So I go for the kill. I flash, trying to power through her barrier. She goes down to 12 HP, but she survives it. To be honest, I just totally forgot that she had barrier, so that was a really bad trade for me. I blew my ult and both summoners, and all she had to do was blow barrier. And now it's pretty much guaranteed that I'm getting ganked. So I go back, instead of buying pure AP, I instead opt for a Dorn's Ring, and then I get a Giant's Belt. And the reasoning here is, if I get ganked, I think I can survive the combined damage of Rengar and Lux. I probably should have gone a pink ward so I could just ward the middle of lane, but I didn't. I really don't have a good reason for why I didn't. But instead I grab a green ward and that Giant's Belt, a little more AP, and I come back to lane. Now I've got a huge item advantage on Lux. The gold right now, I am 500 gold ahead of Lux, which is a pretty sizable amount. 600, so, and I've just bought. So barring any jungle pressure, I would have complete control of this lane. But I know since my flash is down that Rengar will be coming soon. So I'm trying to keep the wave close to my side. Lux is pushing it really hard so that it'll reset towards the middle. I'm doing my best to keep them from going into tower, so it takes a little bit longer for the wave to go down. That will keep it closer to my side. You may notice whenever I see Lux going bot, I don't follow. I just CS the wave instead, and that's why I've got a 20 CS lead right now. But, as I expected, I get ganked. I did not have a pink. I think I can survive with my ult, and I turned out to be wrong. So, I give up a kill there. I should have... I had a couple options there. I should have considered holding my ult a little longer. Oh, here Lee tries to kill Rengar, but he messes up his combo. Chases him for a bit, but it ends up going nowhere. So, there I probably should have held my ult a little bit longer. I should have waited till Rengar entered tower range. And if I'd done that, probably could have at least traded a kill there. But I tried to get the double stun off my ult. I wanted to make sure I hit both of them, and I thought that'd be enough to let me survive. But because of that Rengar snare, I just traded the stun for the snare, so I still ended up right next to him, and there was nothing I could do. So now Lee Sin's getting me blue buff. Blue buff is extremely crucial against Lux. If you don't have that blue buff, she's going to be able to outpoke you all day just because of her longer range, and you're going to be stuck without really anything to do. Just because you need that blue buff for your sustain, because W has a surprisingly high mana cost. Once you start spamming it, you realize how quickly you run out of mana. So now I'm just trying to shove the wave. I don't know where Lux is, but I'm pretty sure she's getting blue. So I'm just going to push the wave to her tower so that it'll reset. And here, right now the enemy team doesn't have much of a gold advantage, but we don't really know that because they have a 3 kill advantage, so it looks like they're beating us by a good margin. We're just out CSing them in every single lane, which is why the gold's so close. But they go for Dragon, and Caitlyn's back, so we can't contest it. Ultimately, Lee Sin dies. I would have been interested in coming and trying to help out, but I didn't have ult, so I knew I probably wouldn't be able to get a kill. So I figured it wasn't worth it. It was too risky against all of their CC. Back to posturing mid. I've still got a 20 CS lead, even though I died to that Rengar gank. And Lux is very low right now. My ult is about to come up. All my summoners are up, so she has to back. If she didn't back there, then next chance I saw her, I would kill her. And this is where I decide that I need to take this game seriously. Once the enemy disses the AP Lux, they're going to need to be taught a lesson. Frankly, no one outscales Sona's team fighting. That's the whole point of AP Sona. I generally lose lane to a Lux, so that I'm up 25 CS right now is really good.
Rampage.
I think I've still got a gold advantage at this point. I've got 3660 to 3180, so I've still got a 500 gold advantage. So being able to come out of lane ahead of the Lux in gold is really good. Just because in team fights, I can assassinate just about anyone, including that Lux, which we will see later on in this game. So yeah, now the enemy team's still telling me that that I get outscaled, so they've got a pretty big lead right now. They're a little cocky, but things will change. As you'll see, my focus has been CSing. I'm the first player in the game to hit 100 CS. And that's just because at early levels, Sona doesn't have much harass potential, even with Adorn's Ring. You have some harass potential, but not much kill potential. One. This is an old game, I'm just doing commentary over it. So now that Lux has blue buff and I don't, I can't really afford to try to go too aggressive on her. They've also got a lot of ward coverage around mid, so any Lee Sin gank has been relatively useless. But I don't really need ganks at this point. I'm happy to just make mid a farm lane and wait until there's the next team fight contest a dragon. Even though every lane is losing on kills, every lane's also winning on CS. So we are still playing better than the enemy team, even though they have more kills.
Purple team's turret has been destroyed.
And we've been playing a bit more organized, so we're able to grab a tower there. Then immediately, as soon as we see Lux start rowing bot, we decide, okay, we're going to take mid tower. And there's a lot of faulty positioning from the enemy team. They gave us too much pushing tower when they really shouldn't have. So now, just because Lux roams instead of staying in lane, we're able to get half the health on the enemy mid tower. And that's just a small mistake made by the enemy team. They decide instead of protecting mid, they're going to keep on pushing bot, which is, to be fair, a pretty smart decision. Lux has very good wave clear on her own, so we're unable to take the tower with that wave. And I believe this wave, the bot lane is able to take our tower. So ultimately, that's a good call on their end. They're able to get a tower out of it.
Team's turret has been destroyed.
That Rengar gets relatively low. If he had decided to stick around, I would have been able to kill him. But unfortunately, he goes to Wraiths, and then I'm not able to see him when he heads towards our blue buff. So once again, I'm grabbing blue buff. Rengar ults, trying to catch me out in lane. Once he realizes I'm going to blue, he tries to catch me out there, but I think he realizes that I would kill him very easily if he tried to go in on me, so he just backs off. That's a wasted ult for Rengar, but our team didn't know that he used it, so ultimately, not too bad for him. I think next dragon's coming up relatively soon. 1635, so it's about a minute away from now. And I've got a huge amount of gold right now, so I get to buy before we contest dragon, which is really helpful. I finished my Realize, which is crucial. It's best item on Sona by so much. So I finished my Realize, I get my sword shoes, and then I grab a pink ward so I'll feel a little more protected in mid lane. I start heading towards mid, but then I notice that bot lane is getting aggressed on. So I come over just to protect them. Once I do that, I realize they haven't seen me, so I can probably grab a kill on the spot lane. I could flash ult. I would probably hit both them, but I decided to wait it out. Which means I do lose the kill on Tristana, but I do protect my flash. So ultimately, I do still get a kill there. And I head back mid.
Face.
Yeah, there's your face.
A summoner has disconnected.
I mean, I can't stream my games live, I get too much FPS lag, but I want to add full game commentary
A summoner has
to my guides, so that's what this should be. This game, like, I don't do as well. Like, okay, I end up doing well, but I don't play well. But I can't get any of the replays from my 3.8 just because lore replay's bugged. So I can't upload like my game against Cutie Pie or my Penta or anything like that. So I'm uploading this instead.
Okay. You guys win this game.
Yeah. Spoiler alert, we win.
Oh,
Thanks, Sippy.
whoops. Do you have video editing
A
software?
summoner has disconnected.
What?
Do you have video editing software?
No.
I'm pretty sure you can get it. Anyway, I'll leave you.
Alright. So here's the enemy team's contesting dragon. They don't know that Vlad has disconnected, but they think they're safe once they get this kill on Caitlyn,
A summoner has been
which is just Caitlyn getting caught out by Rengar ult. I mean, it's to be expected. Lux continues trash talking, which is not okay. But here we're able to come back a little bit. Rengar over-aggresses, and as a result, he dies. Now Lee Sin's made it back, so it's a 3-on-3, but they are relatively low health. Unfortunately, I make a bit of a misplay. I expect my Q to hit both them, but my Q only hits Tristana. So I end up burning my power core on Fiddlesticks instead of Tristana. Thankfully, though, the team's able to clean up, and we get a 3 for 2. And as a result, we attempt to take Dragon, but they've got it pinked. Lux is relatively low health, but she is still too much of a threat, so I ping my team off it. And because Lux has full mana and more health than Nilly, she is able to win the pink war and clear out our vision again. That's still a good trade for us. I'm able to get another kill. I'm 3-2-2 now. And I've added a needlessly large rod, which gives me a huge boost in AP. I'm now at 259 AP. Lux is only at 162, even though she's building straight into a death cap. Whereas I, of course, have built survivability with my allies and utility. So now mid tower is very low. We try to pressure it a bit more.
Rampage.
And we're about to have a bit of miscommunication between the team. So that pink ward's relatively low, but it's still up. Rengar ults in here, but we see him. And I flash, or I ult rather. And I think this is a perfect opportunity to fight, but both of bot lane go off. I end up dying as a result. I still think we could have fought that 3v3, and we would have been able to kill them very easily, but what happens happens. As a result, I think they're able to take Dragon here, the enemy team. You see, even though they have a 5 kill advantage, we have the gold lead at this point just because of how heavily we've been out CSing them. Oh. Okay. So we are able to take them off Dragon. Nilly just barely survives that Lux combo, but she doesn't know that Malphite's coming over, and she dies as a result. So now the team just has to back off. But I'm coming, and we're able to contest this Dragon, which ultimately we do steal with Vlad Q. And then I'm able to grab a double kill. And let's see, we get 3 kills. So there we get 4 for 1 plus Dragon. Awesome trade for us. We've now got a 2.5 thousand gold lead. We're massively in the lead, and that is largely due to misplay by Rengar, missing his smite. But hey, we'll take it. I think at this point I have enough gold. Okay, I'm 50 gold away from having my death cap. So Kaylin sees that Rengar burned his ult. She just stands there with a trap underneath her. Very cute. And here I grab another blue buff. I go back to finish my death cap. At this point, 23 minutes into the game with Rylai's and death cap, I'm very happy. And it's a huge power spike. I am probably the strongest person in this game, although Tristana has some impressive stats right now as well. But thankfully we're reaching the point where Tristana has a relatively weak mid game. So even though she is 7-2-2, she's not going to be able to apply too much teamfight pressure until we hit late game. She's fully skilled up that rapid fire, and her range is increased. So here I think we're calling out that we want a pink ward in the middle of lane. We're afraid of a Rengar initiation. But instead, we get initiated off from the side. It looks like I'm going to fall down, but I'm able to get a flash off. I barely survived Lux ult, and thanks to that pink,
Blue team double kill.
I know to stick back. So we were able to pick up 2 kills off the bat, and then we were able to catch out Rengar thanks to that pink. And that's a 3-for-1 for us. We've got an even bigger lead now, even though we are still down by a kill.
Purple team's turret has been destroyed.
We've now got a 4.5 thousand gold lead. And our comp just works so much better than theirs. Just between Caitlyn, Nidalee, and myself, we have so much poke for a single lane siege, whereas their sole option is to do a hard engage just because they have Malphite, Rengar, and Fiddle. They can't afford to win the poke war, which just doesn't work as well with Lux. Lux is also a poke champion, and although she can hard engage relatively well, it's just there are probably better champions for that composition. Then again, this is solo queue. Team comps don't really mean that much. I mean, you can play whatever you want and have it work. But because Lux was ranting about her outscaling me in teamfight utility, she probably should have thought about how she doesn't really work too well with her team. So because Nidalee has grabbed in oracles, we're able to pressure Baron, and because we have the lead at this point, they're going to have to come to us. We've got full map control, and although we don't have the kill advantage, we're still scary. So I'm able to grab off the kill on the side very easily. I ult Fiddle as he's trying to use his ult, and that lets us kill him very easily. And then here, Tristana dies before I'm able to catch her out, but I'm able to force Lux to blow her flash. I don't think we're ultimately able to kill her, but we get a 4-for-0 there, and this game is pretty much over at this point. So I'm now 6-3-10. Even though I was off to the side for the majority of that fight, I'm still able to work as an assassin, and being able to ult Fiddle as he's channeling his ult really made sure he won that fight there. Here I trash talk the Lux because she trash talked me earlier, and she needs to learn some respect. As you can see, she has 7 takedowns right now, which is the fewest in the game, whereas I have 16. Which is the most in the game, due to my superior outscaling in team fights. I just don't like it when someone calls out their team for being heavy. So that's what made me respond to her and tell her that, hey, you kind of suck. If she didn't call out her team, I wouldn't have said anything. But once she did, yeah, I don't respect players that do that. So now I get a Blasting Wand. I'm starting to build Lichbane. I could go straight for the Void Staff, but at this point I'm so far ahead in the game that I just want to get more burst, mainly for fun. And they're really not building too much magic resist yet. There's a little bit on Malphite, but that's about it. The rest of the team does not have magic resist, so here the enemy team's able to get Dragon, but Lee Sin gets to initiate in. They're all grouped together. That's a beautiful Malphite ult. Ooh, I get snared. I'm probably gonna die here, aren't I? Oh, okay, never mind.
team double kill.
Oh,
Rampage.
I'm able to take out the Lux. Good. Okay. And immediately Lux starts blaming her team again. This is not the kind of mentality you should have in solo queue. Your teammates will make mistakes, but you will also make mistakes. There's a reason they're the same level as you. It's because they're the same skill level as you. So, yeah, if they make mistakes, there's no need to call them out in chat because they probably know they made a mistake just like you do. Like I said, I made mistakes this game. My teammates all made mistakes this game. But it doesn't matter, we didn't call each other out in chat for it. So we've got full map control. All we really need to do at this point is siege mid lane, and then we should be able to end it. We've also still got Baron buff. We have too much of a lead for them to be able to come back. Our team is a better mid-game team. It definitely is not a better late-game team. When you compare to a support Fiddlesticks, an AD Tristana, their late game is very scary. So we do need to finish out this game relatively soon. So I'm pretty sure I'm calling for us to siege mid right now and just take down that mid inhibitor. So once we do that, we should be able to finish the game outright. And here you can see Nidalee has gotten herself quite a bit of AP. She's at 138, which is not much compared to my 543, but it does allow us to provide more heavy poke. And here it's just a poke war, which we're gonna win every single time because we've got heals, whereas they don't. So we're perfectly happy to play the poke war. And just wait out until we're able to take down this tower, which we're whittling down with every wave. It's at half health now. And now that Fiddlesticks has to go back. Ideally, Lee would have face tanked the tower right there. We would have been able to take it. But ultimately, I think I'm the one who takes the task. Just because no one else was doing it. And we are able to take tower. And without a tower, they really can't protect the inhibitor. Rengar tries to go for the assassination. I probably burned my ult prematurely there. I think we could have killed him without the ult, but I wanted to be safe. I wanted to make sure that Caitlyn lived. Malphite messes up there. He burns his ult on me instead of killing Caitlyn when I was relatively high health. And as a result, Caitlyn's able to clean up the fight. Even though I die, we're able to pick up the inhibitor. At this point, the team miscommunicates a little bit again. Vladimir wants to take Nexus towers, so he starts heading towards the Nexus. Whereas the rest of the team heads towards bot. Nidalee attempts to jump over this wall many times and fails. And Caitlyn just straight up dies. But it's not a big deal. We need to reset anyway because we're all low health. I think Vlad also suicides here ultimately due to that fear and the snow. The slow, yeah. So he gets taken down. I've completed my Lich Bane, now I'm starting to build my Void Staff. But at this point I've got 526 AP, and my Lich Bane does an extra 450 bonus damage with every hit. And I think with Q power chords that gets doubled to 900. So at this point I do a lot of damage. So I grabbed blue buff. Late game blue buff, I need it mainly just for the mana regeneration and the CDR. Mainly, to be honest, the CDR just allows me to do more damage. So we picked that up, Baron's up relatively soon, so we start setting up for it. Time everything's 34. Yes. So we decide whether we're going to spring a trap or just do it outright. They're really, the enemy team's in no position to contest it right now, so instead we don't even have to worry about it. Malphite goes out of position. Although he's able to survive, he's taken very low, and we have all of the healing potential on our team. So at this point, I think we're able to just straight up force it, and there's really nothing they can do about it just because of our healing potential. They've got no vision, so even though they ping it out, they're not able to make it here in time. And we pick up an uncontested Baron. Fiddle tries to recall, but he's on top of a ward. You can see how much my Lich Bane proc does there. It takes out about half of his health between the Q power cord and a Lich Bane proc, which is just a ridiculous amount of damage. If I had ulted, I could have bursted him single-handedly, but I didn't really need to. And there, I just get a little bit more damage out on Trist. And instead of chasing the Malphite, we take the turret and we just go for the inhibitor. Here, because Lux was being a jerk, I just blow her up. And with these Lich Bane procs, I'm able to take down the top very quickly. This is why, against a lot of roaming mids, such as Cassidon, I'll take an early Lich Bane, just for the sole purpose of being able to push down towers. Sona's pushing potential without something like Lich Bane is very unimpressive. So that's why so many people consider Lich Bane core on Sona. I would say I prefer the Death Cap over Lich Bane, I think, but both of them are very strong items on her. And at this point, game's over. I think it's my final score, 10-4-19. So even though I made some mistakes early and I got cut out by Ranger ganks, we were able to just grab a lead and just completely snowball it because of our ability to team fight compared to theirs. And just the fact that we were able to survive early lanes because we were able to out CS them. So that's an AP Sona game. I hope you learned a lot from it, and if you have more questions about Sona, just make sure to comment on my guide on solomid.net, and I'll make sure to respond. Alright, thanks.